Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., all rights reserved.
We're back. It's 7 till the hour. Thank you very much for staying with me. I'm Jim Blasingame, and I am the Small Business Advocate. We're having a great visit with our good friend Grace Marie Turner. Grace Marie Turner is the president of the Galen Institute, GALEN.org. Grace Marie, tell us about Galen.
Nonprofit think tank organized in 1995 to fight for free market ideas and health reform. So the website is Galen, GALEN.org.
All right, so check that out, folks. And as you know, if you've been listening to my show for very long, you know what a great resource Grace Marie has been and what a great voice she is for free market solutions. Grace Marie, I know you've got a bunch of other things you want to tell us about Obamacare, but one of the things I want people to start watching for is something that's happened that came to my attention this last week, and that is non-healthcare type programs that have federal funding, especially from HHS, that may wind up being cut. And some people came to me this week and said, why are we losing this program? It was the ARC program, which is a national program. Our program started out local, then they joined the ARC program and with state and federal funding, but now their funding is going to be cut. They're telling me, and they're saying, why do you think this is? And I said, well, I think if you're tracing it back to HHS, I think it's because they're going to use that money to offset the cost of Obamacare. And so my question to you, Grace Marie, is it not likely that people are going to start seeing other programs like this cut, all because of funding Obamacare?
Well, anything that competes with the government, this administration doesn't like, so it is doing everything it can to shut that down.
But I don't think it's so much competing, Grace Marie, as it is they would rather take the hit on not funding ARC, for example, than to take the hit on not having the money for Obamacare. They'd rather put that money into Obamacare.
I think that one that's going to happen is this law is going to be much, much more expensive than any of their original estimate anticipated. Right. So, yes, that's probably part of it. But I also think, Jim, their strategy has been to shut down those programs that have often the biggest constituencies, the most visibility, that would hurt the most people in order to convince Congress that they need to reverse course and put the money back in. So it sort of has a two-part strategy. Yes, if they save the money, then they can spend it on Obamacare, which we know is Obama's favorite, or if they don't, then they convince Congress that look how many disabled people, how many poor people, how many World War II vets were hurting, and therefore you have to restore all of that money and then some. It's a strategy. It's a tactic to make the cut possible.
Right. So, talk to us about some of the other things that you wrote about this week about what's coming at us from Obamacare.
Well, I still think, Jim, that people don't understand this individual mandate, that the federal government is going to require you to purchase very expensive insurance or pay a fine or a penalty. And when it rolls out initially, the minimum fine is $95 a year, or 1% of your income, but it's going to quickly escalate up to $695 for an individual, about $2,000 for a family minimum, or 2.5% of your income. It's going to start to become about the cost of health insurance. And I frankly think that's likely to be what the penalties for employers begin to escalate up to as well. It's now $2,000. They'll figure out how to make, or $3,000. They'll figure out how to escalate that up so that it basically employers have a choice of purchasing health insurance for their employees or paying a fine that's just as much as purchasing health insurance for their employees.
Mm-hmm.
So the fines and penalties really do worry me. But I think that as it rolls out, more and more people are going to start to see individually how this affects them. Let me give you one example. If you are so lucky that you get on, and I say this facetiously, to sign up for Obamacare insurance, and you understate or overstate your income or understate your income, either one, but you don't get it right, then you could be in the position of having to pay back thousands of dollars in subsidies.
Yep. It's a clawback.
That went to the insurance company. The clawback, in addition to the premiums you paid, in addition to the deductibles, and I just think people are going to throw their arms up and say, this is a terrible program, and they will know it personally.
One of the things that bothers me, Grace Marie, as we wrap this up, is how the administration has been able to, by government fiat, change the law on their own, like pulling the Congress out of Obamacare, like delaying the employer mandate for a year. I don't understand how they're able to do that, and we're going to be tracking that as time goes on. Grace Marie, thanks for being here. Good report. Come back soon.
Thanks, Jim. Always a pleasure to talk with you.
Grace Marie Turner, folks. Galen.org is her website. Please check that out. I got to go for this hour. I'm Jim Blasingame. Stay with me.
Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., intended for the private use of our audience. Except as otherwise provided by copyright law, all other copying, redistribution, or publication without prior written consent is prohibited. All rights reserved.